guys. Welcome back to another episode of Live Wire. I'm your host, Jared Moore, and Live Wire is the program where we take your questions from the chat. So if you have a question, feel free to pop it in the chat and we'll ask it. On tonight's program, we've got Mr. Chris McCabe. He is the president of the Tulsa Riverview Neighborhood Association. You might remember from April of last year, we did a Live Wire on the Council Oak Park with Mr. McCabe, talking about how the park had fallen into a state of disrepair, and the Tulsa Riverview Neighborhood Association was going to try to start some fundraising and involve some citizens and the government to try to get the park repaired. And we're just having an update stream on that tonight. So, Mr. McCabe, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
So,
Good to be here.
I guess, let's just start off with the updates. Where is the project right now? Are we going to see some repairs? I know there's a lot to talk about, so I'll just let you
Yeah.
jump off from wherever you want.
Well, it's been a quite a journey since last April when we spoke last, and we had some ups and downs, but we've really come to a place where we're making some forward progress. One of the things that we learned very quickly is that this project was going to need to involve more than just our neighborhood and those living in the neighborhood. And so we put out an open call for folks that might want to join a team to really take this project head on, and that we realized that it was going to be too much on the plate for the neighborhood association that has a lot of other things that they are responsible for doing. So we kind of
Right.
broke it out from the neighborhood association, and we formed this team, who I'm very proud of. It's 8 individuals, myself and two other neighbors. One that has lived, her family has lived right. It's If you've been to the Creek Council Oak Tree, the big white house on the corner right by the oak tree, that has been in the same family for 4 generations. And so her family has been looking after this tree and living in the shadows of the tree for well over 100 years. So excited to have her on the team. And then we have a couple of other folks that live nearby that are actually new residents to Tulsa. They've only lived here a year, 2 years, and 1 year, and they're here on the Tulsa Remote Program. I don't know if you know what the Tulsa Remote Program is, but it's
The
it's a
remote work program where
yeah,
I got you.
yeah. And they stumbled upon the tree and the story, and it's amazing to me, even as new Tulsans and Oklahomans with no history or understanding of what the tree is, fell very passionately in love with that tree. So it kind of speaks just to how that tree can grab a person's imagination, and how much it speaks to folks, even that have no reference to that tree in the past. And then we had 3 other individuals from outside of the area that we brought on board. A man named Richard Bewley, who is the former president of Up With Trees and an arborist, a retired arborist with the a forester for PSO. He has been just a great, because he has scientific knowledge of tree
Right.
health, and
Right.
it's been super important. We have a lady named Lauren Rogers who works for the Chamber of Commerce, and she runs the Visit Tulsa website. So her whole job is about telling Tulsa's story and promoting Tulsa's stories, and so she was very enamored by this project. And then the third is Raylan Butler, who works for the Office of Cultural Preservation there at Mvskoke Creek Nation, and she has also been just a huge blessing, and has really been able to help us to understand all of the background, even way more than what we thought we understood, and has brought in some important ties and relationships with the Creek Nation. So those 8 folks have really taken this job to heart, and they're doing a really good job. One of our biggest, probably our biggest success, we said we want to exist to protect the tree, to preserve the tree and to promote the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And protection being the foremost. We want to protect it and make sure that tree stays, that nothing happens to it, and then preserve it long term, where generations and generations to come will know and appreciate the tree, and then promote it. And to promote it and promote the story of the Loja Poja and the Trail of Tears and the settlement that eventually became Tulsa. Um, so we applied for a grant through the Oklahoma Forestry Department to protect the tree by making sure that it is safe in storms, mainly lightning storms. In
Mm-hmm.
the 80s, there was some lightning protection installed on the tree.
Yeah.
And you can see it at the very top, lightning rods.
Mm-hmm.
And then, copper wire that comes all the way down. It's meant to be grounded. Um, well, it's been pulled up out of the ground. It's no longer protecting the tree. And some of it's even, the tree has grown, the wires grown into the tree, which is what Richard tells us is not good for the health of the tree for
Mm-hmm.
it to grow around that metal. Um, and so we applied for a grant and received a grant of $5,000 with a $5,000 in-kind matching, which actually the Creek Nation is going to be our in-kind donator.
Oh,
And
great.
they're going to donate bucket trucks and crews to come out and remove the existing and install the new. So those funds will cover all the materials we need, and then Creek Nation is going to supply the labor and the equipment to install, and then it also covers an arborist to give the tree an overall health analysis, to
Awesome.
kind of give us an idea of what can we do to preserve that tree and make sure that keep it disease free and keep it well aerated and all the things that needs to sustain its life. So those funds will be distributed soon, and we're hoping to do that project this spring. And so that's something that when that happens, I think it's going to be a really big deal and a really cool thing to see us all come together and work to make sure that happens, and just protect the tree from any lightning storms that come. And we know that Oklahoma has a lot of them, and she's been very lucky. Probably in her history, she might have been hit by lightning as
Yeah.
old as. So we're excited about that. Another project that we've done this past fall, we had volunteers from the neighborhood, from Tulsa Community College, and from Up With Trees come out and scrounge for acorns. And then we're able to get about 40 or 50 acorn seeds, of which TCC has a horticultural department, and they have taken those and germinating them. I'm not sure if I'm using the right terminology there, but now we have out of that 12 seedlings.
Oh,
So
great.
small tree offshoots of the Creek Council oak tree. And of those 12, in fact, we just had a meeting last night, a team did. We're thinking about places that we can put these trees, like the Council Oak Health Facility, one, Mvskoke at the college, maybe one at the Council Oak Elementary School. Just, we're thinking of ways so we can that story can be told in other areas just from the babies of this tree.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, we're excited about that. And then this coming year, when she produces its fruit, we're going to be much more intentional about collecting it, collecting those seeds, and hopeful to get even more. And maybe we're tossing around the idea of maybe even using that as a fundraiser, where
Yeah.
folks can buy seedlings and have their own offshoot, own baby of the Creek Council oak tree. So. But we have to capture those before they hit the ground, because once they, you just lose a lot of them when they hit the ground through squirrels and getting kicked around. So we're going to try to collect them before they actually fall. which is a process that, you have to go up and hang some bags and,
Hmm.
some nets, try to collect them that way. And if we can do that, then we have a chance to really have, from 12 seedlings to maybe 120 seedlings, which would be great, if we
Yeah,
can
and,
collect
and
that.
I think that would really blow up too because, just from my experience, we did a story a few years back on some peach trees that came from Georgia that were when Creeks went on the Trail of Tears, they brought the trees with them, and
Oh, wow.
that people really wanted to get one of those peach trees.
Hmm.
So I think, and even more so for Council Oak, that just among
Yeah.
citizens, they would be like, I got to get one of these. Where can I get one?
Yeah.
So it'd be great
Yeah.
fundraiser. But
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
had some questions pop up in the chat. I wanted to hop
Sure.
on there if I'm not interrupting you.
Go for it.
Okay. So Ty Prol asks, have you had a chance to speak with any of the announced candidates in the upcoming municipal and county elections? And then he has a follow up to that. Would you consider hosting a candidate forum? I don't know if he's asking me that or you that, but I'm just going to ask you that. And Ty Prol, if you're asking me, specify and I'll go into that because the short answer is going to be no. But go ahead.
Well, that's interesting. He does ask that. As you mentioned, I am the president of the neighborhood association, and we're partnering up with a neighborhood right next to ours called Maple Ridge, and we are putting together. We've had two mayoral candidates confirm already. There's three candidates in the race. I think we'll get the third one, and we're going to have a town hall later in March.
Awesome.
And so we'll announce that here soon once we get everything confirmed and our location confirmed. But we've got that scheduled for March 21st. So yeah, that's something that we'll be hosting soon. Yeah.
Is that something? Are you guys going to have any digital presence on it, like live streaming, or is this something where you got to show up in person to see it?
Man, that's a great idea. I haven't thought about that, but that would be definitely helpful for people that can't be there that night or make the trip over. I'm going to make a note of that, and that probably is not very hard to do, but
well, maybe we could get together after the program, and I could help you guys out if I
yeah,
can.
you're,
So,
you're the man that can do it.
well, we'll figure out something if you guys are able. All I need is an internet connection, and we can make it happen. So,
Awesome.
and maybe we could team up with Mvskoke Media. Let me see if there's any questions here. Ty Pearl's dropping some knowledge in the chat, but I don't see. Oh, he asks, any fundraisers coming up, maybe a benefit concert?
We haven't specifically have any fundraisers on the calendar. We've really been focusing a lot of our efforts on some grants that we were going after. I think a fundraiser would be great. It's great not only for the funds, but also just publicity and, making awareness of what we're doing. So that's a great idea. And I love music. Who doesn't? But a benefit concert would be very cool.
Yeah, and I know last time we talked, you guys were doing that fundraiser at NEF with the pint glasses. What is the status of the pint glasses? Are they all gone, or can people get them?
I still have about 40 of those, and I'd love to sell them to people that would want them. We need to figure out. Probably need to put a link on our webpage, and I'll get to our webpage here in a minute that we've made up. But that's a great. I need to put. I'm taking notes from. Is that why I come up with all these ideas?
Oh well, the pint glass was just me. I was just curious, yeah, because I wanted to get one, but also if you guys
actually at the gathering at the tree this past fall, the ceremony, we had the glasses out, and people were walking away with handfuls of them. So we have a bank account. Specifically dedicated to the Creek Council Oak Tree, and I think we've raised $600 or $700 off of those pint glasses, which is really the seed money for that bank account.
Yeah.
So that was been very successful and wonderful of the NEF folks to sponsor that and do that for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a fundraiser that is on my list that I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Sure.
And it's not an event, but it's another like a pint glass thing. But there's a company here in Tulsa called Mythic Press, and they do a lot of the graphic design stuff, and they have a brick and mortar shop. and they sell like a lot of Tulsa oriented T-shirts and wear, kind of like the shirt you have on, like just
Mm-hmm.
Tulsa for Tulsa. And they have agreed to do a T-shirt fundraiser with specifically for Council Oak Tree for
Oh,
what we're
great.
trying to. So that should be coming out here within the next 2 or 3 months, where you can support the cause by buying a shirt that has a tree, a rendition of the tree on it. And they do great work. If you want to, they actually have a series where a neighborhood series, Tulsa neighborhood series, where they're doing T-shirts for neighborhoods in Tulsa, which is pretty neat.
Cool.
So you can go to Mythic Press and kind of look and see what they do. But they're partnering with us, and they're also partnering with us to make some banners that we're going to have printed up that we can
Mm-hmm.
put on the fence around the tree that will allow, like, have a QR code and allow people that come to visit to support the cause right there. They can click on that, and it'll take to the webpage, and you can donate that way as well. So,
With the Mythic Press, are they going to be selling the shirts online through their
yeah,
website?
they'll sell
Okay.
them online and in their store. And we're gonna have we're gonna try to think of a way, some kind of event to have a release kind of
Okay.
gathering or something for that, and couple that with another event of some kind. So,
All right. Well, and guys, when we get closer to that event, I'll make sure we'll try to get Mr. McCabe back on and put some links so you guys can purchase some of this merch when it gets online. I've
mhm.
got some stuff popping up in the chat here. Let's see here. TY Prol asks, "Can you talk about your experience at the Council Oak ceremony?"
Oh, was he there?
He probably was. TY
Oh man,
Prol is everywhere.
um, I was honored to speak at that ceremony. It was it was just a truly touching experience. I thought Raylan actually was one of the speakers, and she gave kind of the history of the tree, which was just very touching. Hearing from all the tribal leaders, and even speaking, I had several folks that came up to me afterwards that were Loja Poja, and had a lot of connection with the tree, and were so. I just felt a lot of love. The just overwhelming love and appreciation from everybody that I spoke to, um, and then just having the chance just to present what we're trying to do. And of course, Chief Hill was there, and it was just a great day, a great one. It was wonderful, very
TY
humbling experience.
TY Prol also asks, "Are you planning to hit up the wild onion dinners?" He's suggesting that you guys should have a wild onion dinner as a fundraiser.
I'm not. He's gonna have to tell me what a wild onion dinner is. I don't know what that is.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a big thing that happens this time of year. Basically, you go out and you harvest the wild onions. You fry them up with some eggs, and they do a lot of fundraisers. He's saying that Humbuck's Che Catering will hook you up. I don't know, TY Pearl. I don't know Humbuck's Che Catering. If you got their information, send it to me in the email. It's jmoore@mvskokemedia.com, and I'll pass it on to Mr. McCabe. We can get him hooked
Yeah,
up because I think TY Pearl's on point tonight with that. If you guys had a wild onion dinner up there, like a mind blowing thing would be if you had a wild onion dinner at the park. That would
yeah,
the Indian meters would shoot through the roof and explode out into the universe. The how Indian that event would be. I'd like to see it just to record that. But
yeah.
thanks for the suggestion there. Let's see. Last time we spoke, we talked about, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier, the collaboration with Creek citizens and the Creek Nation government. How has that process been? Has it been fairly easy, or has it been a kind of a grind? Like, could you take us inside the process there?
Yeah, at the beginning stages, we had some
Upper.
to. I don't know if we would call it a hornet's nest, but um,
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. McCabe. Our connection's is breaking up a little bit here.
yeah, I saw you froze up for a second. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now. If you could just start over from the beginning there. Let's see how it goes. Sometimes this
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, at the beginning there were some rough patches. I think just getting to know folks in the Creek Nation. I didn't have any connection there.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of went to the city because the city um, owns the uh, and didn't get a lot of reception there. And
Mm-hmm.
then I kind of learned that there was a long history between the city and the tribe that wasn't necessarily all rosy. And so we kind of walked in. It wasn't necessarily a hornet's nest, but the bees were. It was a lot more than what knew that. I just didn't know any of that history. I didn't have any
Yeah.
knowledge, and so
Yeah.
there was just a time of educating ourselves, connecting, and since we've done that, nothing but support from really the city and the tribe. Now the city's support is just right now with words. We haven't got them to commit to do anything substantial, but like, yeah, go do whatever you want to do. So, it's. I think it's going to get better and better. One thing I'd like to say, Jared, is that we really would like to grow our team
Mm-hmm.
to hopefully 12 members is kind of our goal. We have 8 right now, and we'd really like to be intentional about who we bring on. We really want to have some voices that from well, we only have one creek, so we'd like definitely to have some more citizens of the Creek Nation, but also people that maybe somebody that works city or city parks or influential in there, somebody from a historical preservation society that would help to bring other pieces, besides just the ones that we have, that can expand our reach. So that's something that your listeners, if they have suggestions, there were people that they think they'd like to nominate to be on the team. That would be wonderful.
How would somebody get in touch? Let's say there's a citizen that's watching this, wants to get involved in this. How could they get in touch with the should they get in touch with the neighborhood association or get in touch with you? How should that work?
Yes, the easiest thing for them to do would be email Tulsa RVNA email.com.
Oh,
And
let's get that one more time, Mr. McCabe, because it broke up a little bit when you were saying that email address.
Tulsa RVNA. So Tulsa RVNA, all one word, at gmail.com.
Okay, and guys, I will put that email in the link to this video once I've confirmed it and everything, because it was kind of breaking up there. We had some questions pop up here. We are getting close to wrap time. It's about 23 minutes in. T.Y. Prohl is saying something interesting here, though. He says, have you tried to reach out to Zachariah Harjo to join? I heard he lives in Riverview. Zachariah Harjo is, I think, the Secretary of the Nation. Is that correct?
We haven't communicated, so I didn't.
Okay.
That's a good recommendation.
And he also has name dropped some other people here. There is, I believe it's on 11th Street. There's the Southwest Trading Company. Have you ever seen that store? Those guys are Creek citizens that run that operation.
Oh, really?
Yes, and
Okay.
he also drops the name Trish Alexander for you to consider reaching out to her. If you have contact info or any of this stuff, TY, go ahead and send it my way. Secretary of the Interior is what he's saying. That sounds more right.
Okay.
So, well, I want to thank you being on the program. Is there anything before we wrap that you want to mention to make sure we get it in?
You can go to riverviewtulsa.com, and on that, there's at the very top there it says Creek Council Oak Tree
Mm-hmm.
Fundraiser. That's the page that you can submit a donation if you'd like to do that. And that's the page. Eventually, we're going to break that out and build a whole website just on the tree with a lot more history. We're gathering a lot of archival information. And Jared, you could probably help us with a lot of that. You came up at mentioned at our meeting last night for some of the work that you did at that other video you made, a lot of the newspaper
Yes.
clip.
Mm-hmm.
We hope to just like bring anything and everything that's ever been written or said or talked about the tree into one space.
Yeah.
So we're going to build a website like out of that. So for now, it's just a one page connected to the Riverview website, but that's another project that we're starting to work on, as well as gain 501c3 status. We're started the process of that, where we'll have we haven't thought of a name yet. I love Tulasi Foundation, something like that, but where we can in perpetuity protect this tree by an existing foundation that will live on beyond us, and we can raise funds and have access to grants through its own 501c3. So those are the big things that I wanted to get out there to you guys.
All right. And you guys watching this, there's a link to the Council Oak fundraiser page that Mr. McCabe was talking about in the description of this video. So you can click it and go check that page out. There's a lot of information. There's some videos on there that show the state of the park and kind of the problem. On our YouTube channel, we did a history of Council Oak that has some clippings and stuff. Is basically newspaper articles that through the years on all the renovations and things, the securing of the park from the previous owners, and that whole process is pretty interesting. So just go to our YouTube channel and search Council Oak. That will come up. And then for the future, we're going to have Mr. McCabe back on to whenever those t-shirts or any of those promotions happen, to try to get that stuff out to you guys as soon as there's a link where you can go buy some stuff, because I know you guys want to get some of those shirts. I want to get some of those shirts. So coming up with Live Wire next week, we're going to be talking with Christopher Asbell at the College of Mvskoke Nation. He is in the land grant office there, and we're going to talk to him about what is that office, what is it going to do, what do they have planned for the next year, and then that will be on the 14th. On the 20th, we're going to have a live wire with the author Russell Cobb, where he's going to be talking about a book that's going to be coming out, I think, next month or the month after that. That's kind of the next, I guess you'd say it's the next Killers of the Flower Moon type of book about land, oil barons stealing land from tribal citizens. So that'll be a very interesting conversation. If you've seen any of our programs with Mr. Cobb, he's very knowledgeable, and he writes good books. So those are the two things I've got scheduled so far. Mr. McCabe, thank you so much for being on the program tonight.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
You guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Mado, Hadum, Chihichath, Lees.